Hi, everyone. It's Julie Huck with the Agent of Change platform. And I have a very special guest here today, my friend Jason Clifford. Jason is actually a real estate agent on the Ed Huck team. And I was talking to him this morning, just in passing, next to the coffee pot. And we were talking about just how much business he has going on right now. And it was one of those moments that it really just surprised me that he's actually really busy. He's closing deals, he has listings. And I wanted to bring him on just to talk about what did it take to get here? Why is he busy at this point in time? And just a little bit more about his story. Because right now I'd like to send some message of hope and encouragement so that you all see that it is actually possible to sell houses in this market, right? So Jason, before you get into just how you've been so successful, I'd love to hear just a background, about how did you get started in real estate? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I actually ended up getting my license in 2020, during the pandemic. Was in a bit of a kind of stagnant part of my life. I come from a business background, and was kind of at the stage of, what's next for me. So I always knew I wanted to get into real estate investing. Was always really interested in the industry from when we bought our own house back in 2018.
Mhm.
And so it seemed, like a logical step to go ahead and get my real estate license and kind of see where that kind of path led. So I got my real estate license in 2020 and joined KW Citywide, and pretty much spent the next year doing absolutely nothing with it. I think I did one deal in my first year, and that was with a friend. I had other things going on as well at the time, so didn't jump in with 2 feet first in that first year, and then it kind of got to around November, December 2021, and I had to kind of make a decision whether I was gonna, really go for it and try and make a career of this, or whether I was just going to move on and do something different. So I think it was November of that year that the Ed Huck team was holding a goal planning training, and it seemed kind of perfect at the time, almost like fate, that I was trying to figure out what I wanted to, what my goals were, and trying to get some clarity on what I wanted to do moving forward. So I ended up going to that training, and I was kind of blown away by the team, and I was kind of like, I need to be on this team, whatever it takes. I need to be on this team. So that was kind of how I ended up joining the team at the start of 2022, January 2022.
Well, it's interesting that you said you needed to make a decision. Are you going to go all in? Did you learn that because you weren't all in, it was really difficult to sell houses? I mean, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I was an individual agent over at Citywide,
Mhm.
and I really struggled, honestly. It wasn't I didn't kind of I was interested in real estate, but I didn't know, I didn't really have, there were people around me that would definitely have helped me with any questions that I had, but I didn't really know the right questions to be asking to become
Mhm.
successful. So I
Mhm.
felt like kind of like a lost puppy, not knowing kind of, what should I be reading, what should I be doing to become successful in this industry.
Mhm.
I needed that kind of direction that I didn't really have. I just, yeah, like I said, I just felt a bit lost, and didn't know the right questions to be asking to become a success, I guess.
What made you decide like you're going to give it a shot? Because I think maybe too, you had to make a decision. Am I going to renew my dues, pay my dues? I think everyone
Right.
kind of, I've heard this story a few times over and over again. It's like you get your license, you're all excited, you cannot wait to be like, I've dreamt of this my whole life. I've wanted to get into real estate my whole life. Like you said, I want to get into investing. You go through the classes, you get your license, you sign up to a brokerage, and then all of a sudden you're like, now what? And you kind of dabble, and then you have to pay your dues again, and you're like, is this worth it? I didn't sell any houses.
Right.
Right? I mean, I hear
Yeah.
it constantly. So what made you say, okay, it is worth it, I want to give it a shot?
I knew I hadn't really tried, honestly.
Mm.
I was like, I feel like I could be really good at this, but I know that it's going to take some really, really hard work at the beginning. And I had to make the decision whether I was willing to, put in that time and that effort to, learn the craft, honestly. And it is like, it does take a lot of work as an individual agent. I think, it's very rare to see someone just jump in and, make huge money at the start. It's just, unfortunately, that's not the way. I think that's the same with any kind of business. It takes growth. It takes time, it takes effort, and a huge willingness to do all of those things. So it was really like I had to sit down with myself and reflect a lot and be like, okay, are we going to do this, or are we not going to do it, basically? And best decision I ever made was that I decided to that I was willing to do that. So yeah.
And so when you decided to partner with our team, did we tell you that we were gonna just give you all the leads and make your life easy and you're just gonna be an instant success and not to worry about it?
No, that would have been nice.
I think that's what people are always expecting when I
Right.
do talk to people. They're expecting me to say, yeah, come join us. I have the magic pill for you, and you're gonna just instantly be successful.
Right. No. I mean, the way that the team was presented to me, and the way that the team is that we're given the framework, we're given the blueprint to become a success. It's up to the agent and the person to decide whether they're gonna put in the work, put in that time and effort to follow it, because the blueprint's there. Like, we have 13 agents on our team, 12, 13 agents on our team, all doing a lot of business, and it's because we've spend the time to go through the training. There is training at the start, which I don't think is provided by a lot of other teams. It's very time consuming, and it does take a lot of hard work. I'm still in training right now, and we're in over a year after. We still practice scripts twice a week. We still have our weekly meetings, which are hugely beneficial and keep you at the top of your game. But it's obviously a time commitment. So it's whether you're willing to put in the work to become successful at the end of the day.
Yeah, I guess tell me some of the things that so I actually interviewed Susie last week. And she's one of the coaches on our team. And I'm not trying to focus on the ad hoc team, but I do want to focus on people who are really putting in the effort and finding success in this current market. And it's things that you can do on or off our team. I mean, these are just the basics of real estate. So Susie is your coach. And so since you started, she's kind of been meeting with you on a weekly basis and trying to help get you focused and up and running. What are some of the things that are the most important? What's caused you to actually be able to be busy right now?
I would say that I've never had a problem calling and asking for help. And you need to find people that are doing something really well and use their experience. So I do have, we have 2 coaches that I can call, but there's also like 12 other agents on our team that are some of them are doing crazy business. Everyone's doing good, but some people are doing crazy business. So like, I remember at the start of this year I started off pretty slowly, honestly. But I remember I was losing out in multiple offers, and the top producer on our team, I just gave her a call and I said, hey, I'm losing out on these offers. what are you doing to win in these multiple offer situations? Like, what do I need to be doing here? And just having that conversation with them. So I think it's really important, even whether you're an individual agent or you're on a team, is that you find mentors, you find you network, you make connections with people, and you ask them for help. You ask them what they're doing. You ask them for help. And I have 12 other people that I can call at any time if I have an issue and be like, all right, well, I'm kind of stumped with this situation. What would you do in this situation? And I think that's really, really important. That's probably been the biggest game changer of this year. Is just, the people are out there doing business. It's you can say what you want about the market, but houses are still selling. It's just, are you the one winning them? So if you're not, then find the people that are and ask them what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's winning them, right?
Exactly.
Well, and it's interesting. I'm going to ask you about like what you're doing to generate new business and in a second. But one thing I do want to point out, and I thought this was really interesting when we were talking this morning, Jason had a really great listing in Lakewood, and we know, Lakewood, Bay Village, all these areas where they're going to be hot listings. How many offers did you have?
Ended up at 18, I think. Yeah.
18 offers. And then one of the things Jason pointed out was he just couldn't believe some of the offers that came in. Like you were talking about just how, I don't know what the word is. Can you tell me what you said so I don't butcher it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I would, what I said was that I was kind of surprised at how off the mark some of the offers were. And when I talk about like honing in on other people's experience, I was saying to Julie that, 1 week I may not sell a house, but there are 13 other agents on our team that may have sold 10 houses between us that week. So we sit down and we talk about, what is winning in this market? What are people doing to win in these multiple offer situations? And some of these offers may have had like one of those things. They may have had two of those things. But we know what to do to win in these multiple offer situations. And there's not many people that are doing them. So just having that kind of sharing of that knowledge is so powerful in terms of my success. Just because we know what to do to win. It's just is the client willing to do it? If they are, then great. If not, then you kind of you do what you can do. But it was a little surprising for sure.
Yeah. Just some of the offers were as if they were offering in a market that wasn't multiples, or, just things weren't completed correctly. There was no advantage to the clients that they were representing to win in a situation where there were 18 offers. And I think we all have to ask ourselves, if we're not fully trained and we don't understand this market and how to do the best that we can for our clients, we should ask ourselves, how can we learn these things, right? How can we get trained? Like Jason said, find people who are doing a lot of business and ask them, what are they doing? And the other thing, like Jason pointed out, you might know what to do, but your clients aren't willing to do that. And in which case, we've been talking a lot about on our team is, don't waste your time with those clients. Sadly, like if they can't compete in this market, there might, you need to have the conversations and ask the questions and dig deeper, but it might be a situation where, hey, don't spin your wheels with buyers who just can't play in this market. You've got to find buyers who can.
And I think that's where like script practice is so important as well. Is you really need to firstly understand the market, like you say. You also need to help your clients understand the market. And I think this is where some of those offers were a little off the mark, is that the market is, we know there's been a big shift in the market, but the market's shifted multiple times. Like I've given up trying to predict where interest rates are going to be going. We knew they were going up a little bit last year after you know, the Fed started hiking their interest rates. We knew that they were going to go up significantly, but we're seeing like half a point, like up and down week to week sometimes. So it's really important to make sure that you're staying on top of the market, on top of what's going on with rates. Just making sure that you know what's going on in the markets that you're operating in is another thing that is definitely super important.
And that's a good point. And then in turn, you're having, you know, in-depth, I know you had a buyer consultation at the office today, an in-depth meeting before you're showing people houses. You're having a meeting just explaining, here's what's happening, here's what we're up against, here's how the process is working today. It could work differently tomorrow, in which case you'll have a different conversation with them. But setting the stage is so crucial, right?
Yeah, and it's going to save you so much time down the line having those, that we call them strategy sessions now, Julie. But
yes.
Strategy sessions. Having a strategy session and setting expectations of what's going on in the market, what can the client expect from this market? Because, you know, we're seeing so many different things in this market. We're seeing agents that it's the seller sets the price at the end of the day. Sellers thinking they're going to get housing prices from 2021, 2022, and then they're setting the price high. That home is then sitting there on the market for longer than it should, and then you're having to decrease price, even though it's a great house. We've got price, condition, and marketing. Those are the three things that impact the sale of a house. So if the price is off, it's going to sit there still. But you've also got homes that are being priced correctly. They're still selling in days. Like my listing this weekend sold in 2 days. If it's priced correctly, they're still, and the condition is right for the price, then they're still selling pretty quick. So we're in a really interesting time in the market right now, where there is a bit of confusion amongst some agents in pricing homes. And it's up to you as a buyer agent or a listing agent to kind of identify where that discrepancy is. If a home is sat there for more than a week or 2 weeks right now, we're kind of wondering why. We're like, is it priced incorrectly? We're pulling those comparables and seeing what's going on. So if you're on the listing side, it really is important to make sure that you're kind of setting those expectations. I mean, listing or buying. Listing side, setting the expectations that, hey, we need to make sure this is priced correctly, or else we might end up falling into that, where the home's sitting. And on the buy side, setting the expectation that, hey, if this home is priced correctly, you're probably still going to be going over asking in some of these markets that we're working on.
Well, and so the question I want to ask you is, so we're talking about, all the things that you're doing to deal with the clients that you have, to set the right expectations, to win in multiple offers, to get listings, have multiple offers on your listings and understand. I mean, that's like a whole nother ball game we won't even touch upon, is how the heck do you learn how to take 18 offers and, decide what, and how to present that to your sellers. But we won't go there now. I know you've had a lot of guidance, and we talked about it in meetings, and your coaches, it's something that just takes time to learn. My question for you is, where are these clients coming from? How are you generating business to where, you told me this morning you have 4 deals closing at the end of this week, which is super cool. I said, where are you going to go to celebrate this weekend? Because your bank account's going to go up a little bit. Where are they coming from?
So I think you always need a variety of methods to fill your pipeline. I made a very conscious effort to focus on open houses this year. So I've been doing open houses pretty much every weekend. Being in the industry, with my sphere, it's the first year, nobody kind of wants to work with the guy who's just started in real estate. But when you're kind of posting about your successes on social media, people start taking notice of that. So I've had a lot more calls from people that have seen stuff on Facebook, Instagram, all of that kind of stuff. I'm starting to get those calls from people that I know now, which is great.
Mhm.
It takes a couple of people to trust you at the start,
Mhm.
to do a good job and then spread the word. So it does take a little time. But yeah, I'm getting those calls. We do get leads on the team too. We have a wonderful sales lady.
She does the
Client
inside sales.
concierge,
Yeah, right.
client concierge. Sorry, we have a client concierge who Maya, who does an incredible job at getting team leads. So getting a lot of team leads coming through that are converting as well.
Well,
And then
converting is the key to that too. That's not
sorry,
easy, right?
it converts.
Well, would you say, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so I think that's
Okay.
the main one.
Would you say though that because one of the things that I always noticed, especially, when I was lead generating, I would get so frustrated because I'm kind of I want things to happen quick. I want to see instant results. And I think, naturally I'm that way, but also our culture has conditioned us to be even more that way. So when I was doing, my lead generation, I would be making phone calls, I'd be posting on social media, doing open houses. And when things didn't happen immediately, I would get so frustrated. But then when I was in the business longer, I saw the pattern, and it was like all the seeds that I planted, whatever days I was planting them, they would kind of come into fruition maybe 3 months, 6 months down the road, right? So you're planting, and then harvesting. So it doesn't happen the day you do it, typically,
Right.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it takes time, and it can be a bit disheartening. When you start out and you feel like you're doing what you should be doing, but you're not seeing immediate results.
That's right.
But I've had calls from people that I've been, speaking to since I joined the team, and they've just decided to buy or sell. Like, I have had people that have bought with me this year that I was speaking to before I joined the team. Like, you really do need to stay in touch, number one, and just keep plugging at it, keep putting in the work, keep doing the right things, keep making the calls.
That's right.
And it does all come around eventually. People, if you're doing a good job, people start noticing that. People start noticing that you're a realtor, that you're a good realtor, and they will come around. So yeah.
And how does it feel to think about, the effort that you've put in it was probably like a really strong effort over the last 2 years.
Mhm.
I mean, you've been selling houses, but I feel like it's all like it's not like you have not been selling houses. You've been selling houses, but now it's almost like it's leveling up for you. Like it's coming to a new level, and you're like, okay, this is
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. Like, how does that feel to see all of your hard work start paying off?
it feels amazing. It's I started riding a really good wave a few months ago.
Mhm.
I'm still riding that wave. So, but I'm still putting in the work. I'm not just kind of sitting back and, waiting for deals to come to me. If I want, to keep going, keep riding the wave, then I need to, keep plugging away and trying to find business. So, I mean, that's the most important thing in this market. The business is out there. It's always going to be out there. It's just, you've got to go get it. You got to take your own fair share. So,
Yeah, that's right. You got to take your own fair share because someone's going to get it. And the
right.
question is it going to be you? And at the end of the day, Jason's been putting in the work. And I was going to say he's riding a wave. And what most agents do is that wave will crash, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I got to go do an open house. I have no business, and they'll do it. He's saying, no, I've built these habits. I've, consistently done lead generation and script training and training of all sorts. And now I'm on this wave, and I'm not going to let it crash because I see that it's actually working. So I'm not going to stop, right? I'm going to keep doing the open houses. I'm going to keep adding people to my database. We're very heavy on events on our team too. So that's a good reason to call people. We have seller seminars, buyer seminars. Actually on Friday or Thursday, we have a training about our events. So that's helpful. So there's so many ways that you can generate this business, but I've been really, really amazed at watching Jason just do it, just do what others said is going to work and trust the process, right?
Yeah, and it's always a work in progress. Like it's, you know, you're never going to be a finished product. Like I'm glad that I'm still training, like in training, still doing those script calls, because, you know, this morning we had script training this morning, and you know, it was one that we'd done before, but it was just a reminder that I've been asked this question. I think the question was, you know, is it a good time, you know, is it a good time to buy or something like that?
Mhm.
And it was just a good reminder that, you know, if you don't keep you know, keep going over these scripts and, you know, going back to them, you can forget them. And then I realized that it's a great script that I need to like put back into my conversation. So
is it a good time? Is it a good time to buy?
I mean, it's always a great time.
It's always a good time.
It's always
That's
a good
right.
time to
I
buy.
was waiting for that.
Um,
It's always a good time.
but yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a work in progress, and you always just need to keep honing your craft. That's really what.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, I know you've got to run to your next appointment, and I really appreciate this off the cuff, you know, conversation. I kind of just pulled him in and said, could you please talk to me? Because I felt like it would really, I think it's really motivating to see someone who's pretty new to the business. You got your license in 2020. You really didn't start really honing until 2021. And just see the success that you're having. And, you know, it hasn't been easy, and you've had ups and downs and been frustrated and disappointed, you know, but we were saying this morning, you know, we could go do something different and get a different job, but wouldn't it be so boring?
Who wants to do that?
Nobody wants to do that. This is so worth it. It's so much
Yeah.
fun. And, you know, just keep doing the things that you guys know how to do, and keep looking for people that you can help, and it'll all come together. You just gotta stick with it and be consistent, right, Jason?
Yep, exactly.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.